A row has erupted after Opera North decided to cancel an opera involving primary school pupils when the writer apparently refused to tone down references to a character's homosexuality.
The production is called Beached. It was written by Lee Hall, who also created Billy Elliot, and was due to open later this month in Yorkshire.
Well, Opera North said the piece couldn't go ahead after a primary school pulled 300 pupils from the project. So let's talk to the writer, Lee Hall, who's here with us in the studio, and the Director General of Opera North, Richard Mantle, is in Leeds. Richard, let's just ask you first. These primary school pupils had already been involved in rehearsals and very firmly involved with this opera for months. So why was it stopped?
They've been actually working with Opera North for 2 years. This opera that we have commissioned from Lee and from Harvey Brough is the culmination of a much longer residency project, and the school, which are all, it's a primary school, so aged between 5 and 11, have been working on all sorts of different projects along with other people around the community. And this, the idea of this opera was to bring everybody together for, in a sense, a rather sort of celebratory experience for them to reflect on the life of Bridlington. In the end, it's pulled because the school, who do have 300 of the 400 participants, pulled out on Friday night, and we had no option. We don't have a project because it's happening in 10 days' time.
Why did the school change their mind about it?
Well, I don't think they've ever really changed their mind. I think they, all the way along, they have been, it's all hinged, as I'm sure Lee will very articulately explain, it's all, in a sense, hinged on an issue of sexuality and the portrayal of a gay character. Nobody is seeking to cut this gay character. The school have asked that Lee tempers some of the language, and we have asked him too, and we've worked with him very closely over many weeks to in a sense, address that point. And you know, I think Lee is quite within his rights to say, look, I can't go any further than I've done.
Okay.
All right, let's look at one of the lines then that seems to be a problem, because I don't think there's a problem reading it out on the television. The character says, "Of course I'm queer, that's why I left here, so if you infer that I prefer a lad to a lass and I'm working class, I'd have to concur."
Yeah.
Was that the only line that was a problem, or were there other lines that were problems, Lee?
There's been all sorts of things that we've worked with the school and with Upper North, but those are the only lines. That's the only lines in question. Now, to me, and it's the only lines that you know that the character's gay, because he openly says he's gay. And to me, the issue is, there seems to be nothing wrong at all. What could possibly be wrong with kids being in a play with a gay character, whatever age they are?
Well, Mike Furbank from East Riding of Yorkshire Council's Head of Improvement and Learning Services said, "It was made very clear to you there were certain elements the school found offensive, including references to drug taking, sexual conduct and the use of homophobic name-calling. The language was toned down, but it was still deemed unacceptable for 4 to 11-year-olds to be exposed to." Do you think there is language that is unacceptable for those children to be exposed to?
This is the only issue. I think that there's lots of mischief because people have got the wind up because it's now controversial. But literally the only words that we haven't all agreed on are the ones that you read out. And that's all that's at stake. But it seems to be an issue of whether what is wrong with kids being in a play where there's a gay character. You wouldn't say that about a disabled character, you wouldn't say that about a black character.
Well, it seems but the issue is not the gay character, the presence of the gay character, it's the somehow the acknowledgement of the gay character. Maybe it's a question of raising these issues with children as young as 4. You know, after a certain age, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's a different matter. But if you've got 4 and 5
you're not
allowed,
I don't know. Well, I'm saying the argument seems to be that a child of 5 shouldn't know who is gay and who is not. David Hockney is the most famous man in Bridlington. You're going to lock him up in case he bumps into some kids on the street. I mean, it's a preposterous argument. And I assert that it's a discriminatory argument. It's discriminating against gay people, and that's why I couldn't possibly agree to this. And I'm astounded at how many people are taking this position. And I think Opera North are in a very difficult position. But in the end of the day, this is is a simple issue about discrimination. It's about silencing gay people and wanting to wipe them out of being in this play. And they're using the issue of children and mistaking the issue of sex and sexuality. Now, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being gay. Whatever
Richard,
age you are.
has he got a point there?
Of course he's got a point. There's nothing wrong with being gay, and I don't think anybody is trying to wipe this issue under the carpet. I can't speak for the school because they've got their own position. What I understand from the school is that they believe that they need and will teach, and they have lots of rules and regulations and guidelines around how they teach sexuality and how they introduce it to children. Their position is that because this particular piece forms part of the core curriculum for these kids, it's not as an optional thing, they have to be part of it, it's in the classroom, that the school are taking this position of in loco parentis, that they think they have this responsibility to introduce younger children to the gay issue, if that's the right word, the issues of sexuality, in the way that they think is right, and they don't think it's right in these circumstances. And that's our real dilemma, and it's hateful.